Have you ever been afraid to say certain words, letters, or sounds? If so, this video is for you. My name is Michael Williams, Pro90D founder and speech coach, and today, guess what we're going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about how you can eliminate the fear of saying certain words, letters, or sounds. How you can eliminate the fear of saying certain words, letters, or sounds. Now we're going to use a very specific example all throughout this video, and that is introducing yourself or saying your name. Now you may or may not struggle with that, but you can apply this to any other words, letters, or sounds that you struggle with. But I'm going to use this specific one because so many people, so many of my previous clients and students have struggled with saying their name. Okay, so we're going to use that as our specific example. Now, what happens? Why does it happen, and what can we do about it? Most importantly, what happens when a person has a fear of saying their own name? Well, one of the things we're going to do is differentiate between fear and anxiety when a person has a fear of saying their name and when they feel anxious about introducing themselves. Okay, so let's kind of differentiate this a little bit. So when we talk about fear, we're talking about something very, very specific. You're going to get coffee and you know you're going to have to introduce yourself. You know you're going to have to say your name. So you have a fear over saying your name in a specific situation. So we could say that that's acute. It happens at a specific time, right? It happens in that moment. It's a specific fear. It's targeted, it's geared towards a specific event. Whereas anxiety is more general in nature. It's more chronic, kind of happens and develops over time. So you can feel anxious about introducing yourself, but you may or may not have a specific event that's coming up. So you may not be going to get coffee. You may not have a meeting where you have to introduce yourself or a social event where you have to say your name, but you just feel anxious about it. So whenever you think about saying your name, you start to feel anxious. Or you may have something coming up, but you don't know when, but you know you're probably going to have to introduce yourself. So you start feeling anxious. You start feeling anxious. And this can go on for months or years, feeling anxious in general about saying your name. And whenever there's a specific situation coming up, you can be afraid of saying your name in that situation. Does that make sense? So, what is it that you can do about this? What can you do about this? How can we eliminate the fear of saying certain words, letters, or sounds? Well, number one, you want to be what we call proactive. You say, well, Michael, what does that mean to be proactive? So let me explain it, and I'm going to give you some other very specific examples in just a few minutes. When we say proactive, we mean that instead of waiting and reacting, you actually go out and take the initiative to say these words, letters, and sounds. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, one reason that you want to initiate is because you will feel more in control. And when you feel more in control, you feel a bit more confident, you feel a bit more relaxed, and generally speaking, you're able to perform better when you feel like you're in control. When you feel like you're not in control, or like you're just sitting around waiting for the other shoe to drop, if you will, or waiting for something to happen, then you feel like you're out of control, and therefore you don't feel very confident, and you become very nervous and anxious, and probably won't perform very well. Okay? So it's very important that whenever you can, you initiate. Now let's talk about some specific examples of how you might initiate, for example, saying your name. Well, let's just say you make a phone call. You call a bank or you call something like that. And you say, hi, this is Michael Williams, or my name is Michael Williams, and I'm calling about such and such. So I did a couple of things right there. Number one, I initiated by making the phone call. Number two, I introduce myself first. Now they may once they try to get into my records or whatever, ask me for my name again. That's okay because I already said it once, right? I initiated. So it's very important to understand that when you're proactive, generally speaking, you're going to feel more confident and you're going to feel like you're in control because you're the one who's made the decision to make that phone call and to give your name when you wanted to give your name. You said your name when you wanted to say it. You didn't wait for them to ask. And because you said your name when you wanted to say it, when you were ready, you were able to say it smoothly, right? You just felt more confident. Now, you can't just do this without using the right tools, okay? So if you recall, in a previous video, we talked about making sure that you're working on your speech, that you're using the right tools. Pro 90D gives you the tools to improve the way you speak, to change the way you speak so you can speak more smoothly, more clearly, and more confidently. So we give you the tools. Then you have to train with those tools. You have to practice using those tools. And that's one of the things that we're talking about now. You actually go out and you're proactive, you're practicing in real life. And then finally, you have to try, right? You have to get out there and try to use those tools. So you can train in no to low pressure, and then you can get out there and try to use them in mid to high pressure. But you have to try to use the tools that you're learning, because if you keep going out and you try to introduce yourself the same way you always have, you're probably going to get the same results. You're probably going to continue to get stuck. One of my clients, or my previous clients, used to actually change his name when he could, and he would laugh about that with me, where he would go out and give a different name if he knew that he probably wasn't going to see that person again, or if he was going to see them, again, maybe it was getting coffee, then he would just use that name if he could remember it, right? So you don't want to do that, because when you do that, when you change your name or you can't say your name or something, you experience a sense of pain, right? It feels embarrassing, it's painful. You don't feel as good about yourself when you're not able to say the things that you want to say, especially something like your name. And so this can drop our self-esteem down just a little bit. It can definitely lower our confidence, especially when it comes to saying our name. And we can have high self-esteem and high self-confidence in many other areas, but at least in this one, our esteem is a little lower and our confidence is at least a little lower. But it doesn't need to be that way, especially if you have the tools that you need to be able to say the things that you want to say, for example, saying your name. So let's talk about this first one, and then we'll move on to the second strategy. So the first strategy is to get out there and to be proactive. That means you initiate. You're in control of what you're saying and when you're saying it. And so you feel more confident when you're in control, when you're proactive, when you initiate. Same thing as if you are in a social or a business situation. You can go up to someone and say, it's nice to meet you. What's your name? And then they say the name. It's, okay, great. My name is Michael. Or, hey, what's your name? They give you their name. Okay, great. Nice to meet you. My name is Michael. Or you can go and say, it's nice to meet you. And what's your name? They say, okay, great. My name is Michael, right? You say, hi, my name is Michael. And what's your name? So look at all those different ways that I just introduced myself. But what did I do? I was proactive. I initiated. I went to them and I asked them their name, or I said, it's nice to meet you. Or you could say anything. Wow, this is a really great conference here. What do you think about it? Then you're going, I've done this a lot, even though I don't currently struggle to say my name, but there may have been times in the past where I struggled to get those first few words out, right? But you go up and you initiate and you talk to them, and then towards the end of the conversation, the person might say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. And then you say, oh yeah, sure, no problem. We've been standing here talking. My name is Michael. And what's your name, right? So you see how that works out, where when you are proactive, you feel more what? More comfortable, you feel more in control, you feel more calm, you feel more confident. So look for opportunities to be proactive, right? To get out in front of it so that you're in control. Now the next thing is very important as well, and that is to be pliable. Now what do we mean by being pliable? Well, we mean Be flexible. Have what we call a flexible mindset, a flexible mindset. Carol Dweck, who's the author of a book called Mindset, she talks about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. This is very applicable right here because when a person has a fixed mindset, they believe that their personality, that their skills, their abilities, right, their ability to grow and to change is fixed. They're kind of stuck with it forever. So there are people out there who have been struggling with their speech in one way or another. Maybe it's stuttering, maybe it's not stuttering. Maybe it's they speak too fast, they have trouble articulating their thoughts clearly, maybe they block on certain words or letters, and they just feel like they're stuck. It's going to be like that forever. They've tried different things, and they're stuck. It's fixed forever. But then there are those people, many of whom I've worked with, who have a growth mindset. They believe that with enough effort and perseverance that they can change just about anything, right? They can change certain aspects of their personality. They can improve their abilities or develop brand new abilities and skills, that they can change just about anything about themselves that they want to change with enough effort and focus and perseverance, and also by obviously using the right methods and tools and strategies. Okay, so fixed and growth. Now, instead of using a growth mindset, I like to use the word flexible because it's a little more relevant to what we're talking about in terms of speech. So when I say be pliable, I mean be flexible. So let's talk about some specific examples of which, some of which we've already talked about in the last example. So what are you talking about, Michael? Well, for example, introducing yourself. When a person feels like they only have one way, right? So if you feel like you only have, or like there is only one way to say something, one way to do something, then how does that make you feel? Well, you've just boxed yourself into a corner. And when you feel like there's no other options, this is another very important word, options. When they feel like there's no other options, they have to say it this way and they have to say it right now. That alone can cause you to feel very anxious, nervous, and actually even feel very fearful in that moment, which kicks in the fight or flight response, right? And then your body, the amygdala, begins to take over and do things that you don't want it to do in that particular moment, right? And so your breathing starts to get a bit more shallow, your muscles begin to tense up, you're not able to think as clearly, okay, you're not able to think as clearly, your mouth can get dry, and all different kinds of things can happen to you, which are not conducive to your being relaxed, calm, confident, and introducing yourself or saying whatever it is that you want to say, because your body's now geared up to fight, to freeze, or to run. So when you think that there's only one way and you don't see any other options, this is not good for you. You've boxed yourself into a corner. So what can you do? What should you do? Well, when you have a flexible mindset, you understand realistically that there are a wide variety of different ways that you can introduce yourself, that you can say your name, that you can say your name, right? There's a lot of different ways that you can say it. And there are different times in which you can say it. So some of the tools that you'll learn in Pro 90D, and I strongly encourage you to minimally get the self-study. Some of you will want to work with us one-on-one. That is a faster way to get to where you want, but maybe you're not wanting to do that yet, so get the self-study. But in there, we teach you some very specific, effective tools that you can use to say the things that you want to say. Things like airflow linking, things like extending and blending your words, things like inflecting, emphasizing. We also talk about, and we have you practice the free flow speaking exercise and modeling. All those things are tools which help you smooth out your speech, change the way that you speak. So when you use some of these tools, and I'll give you an example right now of a tool that I sometimes need to use if I'm conscious of it. When you use these tools, you become very, very confident, and even if or when you see a word coming, like you have to say your name, you say, okay, I've got to say my name, you're flexible enough to understand that there's different ways you can say your name, right? There's a different order in which you can say your name, and you can use these tools to help you say your name every time smoothly. So for example, there's a word that when I become conscious of it and I think about it, I say, okay, I need to use airflow linking, or I need to blend these words together. Because my brain just says, oh, you might get a little stuck on this word. It might not come out as smoothly as you would like. But do I become fearful? No. Even though I've anticipated, right, I've seen this word, but I don't become anxious. Why? Because I'm confident in the tools. I have the tools, right? So the word is communication. Communication, or it could be confidence or some other word, right? Communication. So when I think out the word communication, I usually, at least the first time, need to airflow link it. I need to blend it. Now you'll learn airflow linking in the Pro 90D Smooth Speech System. You also learn blending and all the other things that I talked about. But because I'm so confident and I know how to use this tool, whenever I need to say communication, if I feel like I might get stuck on it, then I'll use that tool. But here's the magic. Once my brain has gotten used to me being able to say that word smoothly, and I'm speaking the way I should be speaking, which is the way you walk. When you walk, you don't think about the mechanics of walking. You just walk. You move from here to there. Right? You don't think about how you're moving your legs, how you're moving your body. Speech should be the same way, where you're just saying what you want to say easily, smoothly, and confidently, right? So once you do that, then you don't see the words, then you don't think about the words. So 97, 98% of the time, I'm not thinking about the words, and so therefore I can say them smoothly. But if there's a time where I do feel like I'm getting stuck or I've gotten stuck, then I simply employ a tool that works and I'm able to say it smooth. But I don't have to become anxious or nervous around it. So one of the ways that you can eliminate the fear, that doesn't mean that you won't ever get stuck, because everybody has these fluencies. Even people who've never stuttered, never stammered, never struggled. Right? Everyone struggles actually, but maybe they never stuttered. Even they have this fluency. Sometimes they're just not aware of it, or they don't really care. Right? They use lots of filler words and ahs and ums, or whatever it is that they need to do, but it's not impacting their identity. Right? They don't believe themselves to be someone who struggles with their speech. And so they don't think about it. Well, what happens with people who stammer or stutter is they actually are more aware when it happens, and it defines who they are, and it just makes it worse. So when I'm speaking, of course I have these fluencies. Everyone does, and so do I. And when I do, I just employ a tool, either consciously or unconsciously. I just use a tool and keep going. It doesn't bother me. It's very, very important to understand that. So when you have this pliable mindset, right, it's flexible, you understand that, hey, if I need to say communication, I can airflow link it. Or if I need to introduce myself, not me, because I don't struggle to introduce myself, but let's just say you do, right? Maybe I might struggle to say something else, like an 8 or something. But let's say you struggle to say your name. Well, you can say, sure, my name is, or sure, I'm whatever, or yes, it's, right? You can airflow link it. You can also change when you say it. You can also add words in front of it. Sure, yes, it's nice to meet you. Hi, I'm, yes, my name is, right? And all these things are very normal. I mean, I just do it naturally now. Yes, my name is, oh, sure, it's great to meet you. Hi, this is, right? And you learn, you do those things, and you're very relaxed, you're very comfortable, and it just causes your name to come out nice and smoothly. But you have to be proactive. You actually have to go out and create opportunities to use your name using the tools. And then second, you have to have a flexible mindset so that you don't box yourself in a corner and feel like, oh my God, this is the only way I can say it, and I have to say it right now, and I just have to come out and just say my first name, right? No, you don't. There's 100 different ways that you can say your name, that you can introduce yourself. Trust me, I've even been in the military where there's certain things you actually have to say, and I found a way just to say a little something or have a little sound so that I could say it. And then once I was able to say whatever it was, a command, then I stopped thinking about it, stopped becoming a problem for me. Okay, so this flexible mindset, this pliable mindset, creates for you a track. It creates for you an experience of being able to say things smoothly. And the smoother you speak, the smoother you will speak. Because remember, our brains operate in large part off of patterns. It also operates off of memory. So it goes back very, very quickly and see, well, how did you say it before? What was your experience before? Oh, bam, okay, that's going to be our experience this time, right? So if you've had successful experiences of you saying your name, no matter how you had to say it, you had to say it second, third, you had to add this or that, then your brain says, oh, well, saying our name is no problem, right? So you get to the place where someone asks you your name and you just say your name because you're not thinking about it. It's no longer an issue for you. Does that make sense? All right, so let's talk about this last thing. You have to be persistent, right? So if you just try this once or twice and it doesn't work, because trust me, the first couple of times you try it, it may not work. It may work or it may not work. But you trust the process. You know that you've been practicing. You know that you've been doing the things in the system, in the Pro 90D Smooth Speech system, to help get you to where you go. There's been thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of other people who've done it. Then you have to be persistent. You have to stick with it until it works. It's just like a baby learning to walk or a baby learning to talk. If the baby just says, I've fallen down 25 times, that's it. I'm not going to be able to walk. It just lays there and crawls for the rest of its life. Or says, I'm trying this talking thing and I'm just not able to get this vocabulary down. I'm not able to get this accent down. So I'm just going to quit, right? Baby's not going to do that. It's going to keep trying to talk. It's going to keep trying to walk until it can. And that's how you have to have the attitude of a baby, where you're going to be persistent. You're going to keep at it until it works. But you have to make sure that you are using the right tools, because if you just keep trying to run your head into a brick wall, you're going to either get a concussion, knock yourself out, you're going to have a headache. So you have to think of your speech like water that flows. You're going to find a way to say what you want to say, right? To create those successful experiences. And once you do it, once you start creating more and more success, well, guess what? You'll need to use less and less tools, right? Less and less techniques. You stop thinking about your speech. You stop thinking about the words. You stop anticipating the words, right? And you start saying what you want to say. So you have to be perseverant, because if you're not, then you're not going to reach your goal, because you've never given your brain a chance to develop those neurons, the neurological connections that need to be developed that represent that kind of speech. So remember this, when it comes to your mindset and when it comes to thinking, there's something called the law of relaxation. And in this law, it says, when it comes to mental workings, effort defeats itself. All effort defeats itself. So the more you fixate on something and the more you try to force yourself to do something, it's like running your head into the brick wall. But when you say, aha, I'm going to think like water, I can simply add this word, I can add this letter, I can add this sound, I can say it like this, then you're thinking more with a flexible, with a pliable mindset. And now you're setting yourself up for success. You're creating more successful experience. Now, we're not saying for you to use tactics and techniques and tips and tricks and stuff for the rest of your life to be able to say what you want to say. When you're working through the Pro 90D Smooth Speech System, what you're actually doing is you're creating a new way of speaking. So you're changing your speaking style. You are changing or replacing your way of thinking, right? That flexible mindset, pliable mindset, the growth mindset. And you're changing your speaking identity, how and who you see yourself to be as a speaker. So you're changing all three of those things. And when you do that, and you can be confident that you'll be able to say what you want, when you want, the way you want. So thank you for watching this video. In this video, I've shared with you 3 very effective, time-tested strategies with examples so that you can eliminate what? The fear of saying certain words, letters, or sounds. Now, I know you're going to want to go deeper. You're going to want some more specifics. So I want to invite you, especially during this period of time, to check out a little video that I did, because we're running a very, very special on coaching. It's a Black Friday special. So if you're watching this video after that or before that, then we probably won't be running that special at the time. But watch that video, check out our special where you can get some huge savings on working with us one-on-one. But in any case, you can jump into our self-study course at any time, and we'll provide you with links for that. Thank you so much. My name is Michael Williams, and I look forward to seeing you inside of Pro 90D. Are you tired of struggling to say what you want to say, when you want to say it, and the way you want to say it? Are you tired of being afraid that you're not going to be able to say certain words or introduce yourself or give a report? If you are, I want you to watch this video. My name is Michael Williams, Pro 90D founder and speech coach, and I want to invite you right now to take a look at our November 2022 Black Friday sale, which is going on right now. If you want to up-level your speech, that is, take your speech to that next level so that you can begin to get the jobs that you want, earn the income that you want, have the social, professional, and personal life that you've always wanted, but you've been struggling with your speech. It could be stuttering, it could be speaking too fast, it could be fear of public speaking, whatever it is that you've been struggling with that's prevented you from getting out and doing what you want to do, then I want to invite you to take a look at working with us privately. And why would you want to do that? Why would you want to work with us privately? Well, we've been doing this for over 10 years. I've been coaching people from around the world online for 10 years straight, full-time. That's all that I do. And I have people make amazing transformations. In just a couple of minutes, I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why you may want to look at private coaching and why you want to look at it right now. There's a lady that I'm working with right now. She's in her 60s. And she said, you know, when I first watched your videos, I was a little skeptical, I was a little suspicious. I was like, I'm not sure if I believe this guy or not. So she kept watching the videos and she looked at the testimonials and the reviews and stuff. And so she met with me and she said, you know what, I've been struggling with this thing my whole life for decades and decades. But there's some things that I want to up-level in my life. There's some things that I want to do, and my speech is holding me back. And so she decided to go ahead and move forward, and she's working with us for 12 weeks. And I'm telling you, I'm absolutely amazed. I'm amazed myself at how quickly she's made progress. Now, I hope that towards the end of our time together, she's going to let me show just a little snippet of her before. But not many clients like to show their before, and that's why you don't see a lot of them, at least a lot of the clients that I work with. But if she's willing to let me show her before, you will see the incredible and amazing transformation that she's made in a very, very short period of time. Her speech was kind of severe, right? Making faces, pushing outwards, and so forth. And if you see her speak now, you wouldn't believe that she used to do that just a few weeks ago, like a month ago maybe. And she's in her 60s, and so one of the questions that she has is, how many people have you worked with that are my age, and do you think that this is going to work for me? And I told her, yes, it absolutely will work for you. Sometimes it does take us as older people a little longer to learn stuff. However, what we have on our going for us or on our side is that we're focused, we're serious, and we're motivated. And so I've seen older people, because I'm actually older myself, I've seen older people actually progress faster and sooner than younger people because they're more focused, they work harder. So this lady has made an incredible transformation. So if you are looking to up-level your speech, then I want you to understand why you may want to work with us privately and why you want to do it now. The reason you want to do it now is because we have a $500 discount off of either one of our programs. We have a 6-week program and a 12-week program. And you can take $500 off those programs. We already have the discounted prices on the website, and I'll be providing you a link in or around this video. But let's just look at some of the reasons why. So, well, Michael, why would I want to work with you privately? Well, private coaching isn't for everyone, or it might not be for you right now. But if it is for you right now because you want to accelerate your progress, we find that people that work with us can accelerate or speed up their progress by sometimes as little or as much as 10 times, meaning it can take them 10 times longer when they're working on their own to get to the same place that they do when they're working with us. So I've seen people work on their own for years and years, and there's reasons why, but they work for years. And then in just a few weeks or a few months, they get further than what they got when they were working on their own. Okay, so one reason is because of encouragement. I've watched people who are in the coaching program get discouraged. And I was like, man, if we were not working together, they would probably start to slack off and quit. And it's very, very common. It happens to almost everyone that people you get discouraged. You're doing what you're supposed to do, you're trying, and you see that you hit a brick wall and you're just not able to implement some of the techniques and tools that we're teaching you, and you're just wondering, okay, there must be something wrong with me, or there must be something wrong with this process. It's just not working for me. But that is not the case, right? We've seen people go through these cycles and what we call dips for decades now, and we've also seen them come out. The only people who don't come out are those who just quit, right? And so we help you stay encouraged. You have someone there who's walking with you, who's supporting you, and who's encouraging you, and who's sharing stories about how the same thing has happened to most of our other clients and how they came. So it keeps you encouraged, which is a huge thing, right? You could be making excellent progress and just not know it, right? You might be right there. You've heard this before. You might be right there. It's called the law of accelerating acceleration, where you're making great progress, and then all of a sudden, you hit a roadblock, you hit a bump, you hit a dip, and then you just start to slack off and slide backwards. If you just kept going, leaned into the dip, bam, you would have came out of it. We see people come out higher than what they did when they actually got into that dip. So often we see people shoot up, make tremendous progress, then they hit a dip, which is very, very normal. And if they lean into the dip, they come out of that dip higher, okay? This is very common, very normal. So encouragement is one reason. The second reason is accountability. Accountability. Often people aren't doing all the things that they need to do long enough for it to make the changes in your brain that need to be made. So they'll do some things sometime and they won't do it consistently. And so your brain is simply not able to create those new patterns because of this inconsistency. Or they're picking and choosing the things in the system that they want to implement. And so this is a holistic system. Everything works together, right? So if you leave out some important things that may be a little bit more challenging, then you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And so I find that I often have to remind and encourage my clients to do everything that they need to do. We give you a blueprint. Bam, this is what you need to be doing each and every day. And we give you strategies. We help you strategize on how to embed and implement these things into your day. Some people say, I don't have time. Everyone has time, and we show you how to have time. So accountability, it helps you stay on track long enough to make it through these dips and to wire those new neurons to create that new neurological framework that's necessary for you to change your speaking patterns and your thinking patterns and your speaking identity, who you see yourself as a speaker. So a third reason that our laser focus coaching may be for you is feedback. You and I simply don't know what we don't know. We have blind spots that we can't see them. I've had clients say, wow, in fact, I have a client who was saying, He actually recorded himself, which we encourage you to do as a part of our process. He recorded some of his meetings, and he thought he was implementing some of the strategies and tools that we teach. He thought he was. He felt like he was. But when he actually went back and watched his own videos, he said, man, I'm actually not doing it. And I had been telling him that every single week. Make sure that you do this. Make sure that you do this. So, yeah. And he would do it in that meeting, but then when he would get into his own meetings, he would think he was doing it, but he wasn't, right? And even when I would tell him to do it, he would do it a little bit, and I would say, no, do it like this. And then he would do it, and then it would work. So it took him to watch his own video and to say, wow, I know what Michael's been telling me to do now. I actually haven't been doing it. So then he started to do it in all of his upcoming meetings, and night and day, night and day. So now, in fact, the last time I met with him, he was doing what I had asked him to do in that meeting with me, and he had been doing it in all of his other meetings. And this guy also was quite a severe stutterer. I mean, if you see his before video, you'll be like, wow. And then now if you look at him, you wouldn't know, right? So feedback, it shows you and tells you and highlight things that you simply wouldn't know yourself. Okay, that's the powerful, or one of the powerful benefits of working with us privately. So 3 reasons why you'd want to work with us. The first major one, though, is that you want to up-level your speech. You're tired of struggling. You're tired of not earning the income that you want because you haven't been applying for, you haven't been getting the jobs that you want. You're tired of not having the social life that you'd like to have. You're tired of not having the personal life in terms of your relationships, right? And you just feel like you're not fully fulfilling your potential because of your speech. Your speech has been holding you back. You feel kind of trapped and limited. So you're ready to do something about that. Now, why would you want to work with us one-on-one? Well, 3 reasons. Number 1, encouragement. We're going to help you. Now, we can't make you, but we're going to help you stay encouraged through this process. Number 2, we're going to help you stay accountable. Again, we can't make you do something, but my clients will tell me, hey, because I know that I have to meet with you, then I do the work that I'm supposed to do, right? Because if you don't, then, we may say, hey, we're not going to do this next meeting unless you do this, right? So we have to add a little fire. And so they do it. And they appreciate that. And that's why in fact, one of my clients out in California said, that's why I hired you, Michael. I'm glad that you said that to me. So accountability, which is huge because you have to do the things necessary over and over consistently and repeatedly so that you make the changes in your brain that need to be made so that you change your speaking style, you change your speaking pattern, you replace your speaking pattern with a new one so that you change the way that you think. And then feedback. We can see things that you can't see. And we can say, oh, wait a minute, maybe you think that you're doing this, but you're actually not, or maybe you just need to do this, right? And so we help you with that feedback. So I want to encourage you right now to click the link in or around this video and take advantage of this $500 discount off of our coaching packages. This will last for the next few weeks or so, depending on when you're watching this, so around the end of November. But don't wait, because we have only a certain number of spaces that we can fill. That's not a ploy, it's not a trick. Our time is actually limited. I'm actually quite full right now. And so if you want to get in and you want to start the coaching, then we have a certain number of seats that are available. Now, the good thing is that you can enroll now, save now, and start now, right? And this obviously is limited to the number of seats. But you can also enroll now, save now, and start later. We've had plenty of people say, got the money, ready to do it. In fact, we just had someone enroll last week who says, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I finally have the money to do it. And so you can enroll now, you can save now, but some people want to start after the holidays. You may want to start in December. Just get started, take some time off, and then come back around in January. Some people will enroll now and start in January. So we can work all of that out, but the thing is, take advantage of these savings right now. enroll now, save now, $500 off. You're not going to see that again until maybe next year sometime. It's a whole year that goes by. And even then, even if we didn't take $500 off, it's still worth it. We've had people enroll in the coaching or even in the self-study, and they have gotten better jobs, making several times more what they paid for the coaching or for the program. I mean, many times more within a matter of weeks. So you can save now, or you can enroll now, save now, and start now. You can enroll now, save now, and start later. But don't miss out on this incredible discount. Remember, we have limited spaces available, and this discount will not be around forever. Okay? Thank you so much for watching this. My name is Michael Williams, and I look forward to working with you personally.